Alright, welcome to CoolRay version 1.0. It's the software I've been developing for the past 2 weeks in Visual Studio.net and in just 2 weeks. And this is what I've come up with so far. It's actually two things in one. It's basically a ray tracer, so it helps you create high quality computer graphics, computer generated images. Apart from that, it's also an editor, so you can easily edit your scenes, edit your materials, edit your textures, something like a bit like 3D Studio Max. Although obviously at this stage, with just 2 weeks in development, it's really basic, and 3D Studio Max is just way too advanced. But on to the demonstration. The first window you see is the preview window. Over here you can see pretty much everything, your whole scene in real time. So I can just move around in the whole world, and you can see the object shadows, the object reflections, and the objects themselves. The next window I'm going to show you are the editors. So here you have the material editor, the texture editor, and the object editor. Now using these editors you can actually change the appearance of your scene. So for example, if I don't like this material, I can just simply add a new material, and I can change the diffuse color to, for example, yellow, and click on apply. And after that, in the object editor, I will go to box 0, and I'll change the material to the new material I've created, which is material 3. And then I click on apply, and what you can see is that the color of the box immediately changes to our new material. Apart from this diffuse component, I also have reflectance, so I can actually make my surface a bit reflective. Okay, and when I click on apply, as you can see now, it's reflecting the floor. So the black and white of the floor is being actually reflected on the box. That's the material editor. Then you can also add some textures. At the moment I just have a single texture, but if I want, I can either change this or I can add a new texture. So let's just change this to something a bit more cooler. And then click on apply. Now as you can see, the plane, the image of the plane, the texture of the plane has changed from a simple black and white chest texture to something more exciting. And not only on the plane, but you can also apply these textures on the boxes themselves. So for example, I'll take box 0, I'll apply texture 0, and the scale I'll increase to about maybe 1000. Yep, and now you can see that apart from reflecting the ground, it also has its own texture, which is pretty cool. In this object editor, besides editing the stuff, you can also add some objects. Like at the moment I just have 4 basic objects: a disk, a plane, a sphere, and a box. I can also delete objects or materials or textures. And once I'm satisfied with my preview, I can just click on render to render the final image. And while it's rendering, you can actually clock the progress on this progress bar. It tells you the total time, the time elapsed, and the time remaining. Once it's completed, you have the option of some really cool post-processing effects. At the moment I just have one, the bloom. So we'll just increase the bloom here to 1 and click on apply. Now you've seen the image that it's become a bit more blurred, but it's only blurred in the brighter areas, which is to say that the light from the bright areas actually seeps into the light from the darker areas, creating a really cool bloom effect. Then after rendering your image, you have some settings here which you can use to save the image. So now I can save the image as a PNG file, I also have some settings which I can change, like I can change the final size of the rendered image. I can change the ray tracer settings, like the maximum recursion level, the rays per pixel, and the scatter. um, yep, that's pretty much it. But uh, using just this very basic ray tracer program, you can create some really cool images, which I have managed to do using just 4 objects: the box, the sphere, the plane, and the disk, which I think is really cool. And bear in mind that this is just a work that has been in development for just 2 weeks, and hopefully in the future it will grow much bigger. Yep, that's pretty much about it. Thank you for seeing my tutorial, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.